Have you ever thought about how some advice, even if it's really old, just kind of clicks? It feels completely relevant even now.
Oh, absolutely. It's like some truths about, succeeding or just being a good human, they don't really have an expiration date.
Exactly. The language might feel a bit formal, maybe, a little archaic sometimes.
Sure, the style can be different, but the core message, the real insight, that can be incredibly powerful even today.
Well, that's exactly what we're doing here. Welcome to the deep dive. We take these classic works, these treasure troves of wisdom, and really dig in to find what's useful for you right now.
And this time we're diving into a big one, Orison Swett Marden's How to Succeed, a real cornerstone text.
We are, and we're starting right at the beginning, chapter 1.
Yeah.
And the title is, well, it's quite something. First, be a man.
Yeah, that title, you hear that today, and it immediately makes you think, doesn't it? It sounds dated, maybe a bit exclusive.
It definitely could land that way.
Yeah.
It might bring up ideas that don't quite fit with how we think about success and potential for everyone today.
Right. It seems very gender specific on the surface.
And that's exactly why we're starting here. Our goal today, our mission, if you like, is to unpack what Marden really meant by being a man in this context.
So looking past the surface language.
Exactly. Stripping away maybe the time-bound phrasing to get to the universal stuff. The insights that are still incredibly valuable for anyone, whatever your background, your gender, your goals, navigating, our crazy modern world.
Finding the timeless wisdom that you, listening right now, can actually use.
That's the plan. So let's jump right in. That title, First, Be a Man. Marden doesn't actually leave you hanging for long wondering what he means, does he?
No, not at all. He almost immediately brings in other voices, quotes that start to frame it differently, like he knew people might react to the title itself.
He does. He quotes Reverend W.J. Dawson saying, "The great need at this hour is manly men." And then he adds, "We want no goody-goody piety. We want men who will do right, though the heavens fall, who believe in God, and who will confess him."
Okay, so on the surface, that still sounds pretty traditional, maybe even a bit religious for some listeners today.
Right, so how do we decode that? What's the deeper meaning behind manly men here?
Well, if you look at the emphasis, it seems pretty clear Dawson isn't really talking about, biological sets. He's talking about character.
Ah, okay, character.
Yeah, manly men here seems to mean people and individuals with real backbone, unwavering character, strong moral conviction.
That phrase, "do right though the heavens fall." That's powerful.
Isn't it? That's pure integrity, moral courage. It's about sticking to your principles, doing the right thing, even when it's incredibly hard, even when it feels like everything's against you.
Like having an internal compass that doesn't waver, regardless of the storm outside.
Exactly. It's that inner strength.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about the part who believe in God and who will confess him? How does that fit into a universal message for today's diverse audience that might still feel like a barrier for some?
That's a fair point. But I think if we read it in the context of Marden's whole argument, it's less about specific religious doctrine and more about having some kind of strong guiding belief system, a moral compass.
So not necessarily literal theology, but conviction, principle.
Precisely. It's about having a foundation, a set of values that you genuinely live by and aren't afraid to stand for. Authenticity in your beliefs. And notice how Dawson immediately contrasts it with goody-goody piety.
Right. He doesn't want superficial rule following.
Exactly. He wants substance over show, real conviction that drives your actions, not just, ticking boxes or looking pious. So for you listening now, it might mean having a strong ethical code, a personal philosophy, a deep commitment to certain values that you actually live out.
So walking the talk.
Yeah.
Having principles and living them, that definitely feels universal.
And then Alexander Dumas comes in with this incredible statement, really pushing the idea of individual power.
Oh yeah, this one's amazing. All the world cries, "Where is the man who will save us? We want a man. Don't look so far for this man. You have him at hand. This man, it is you, it is I, it is each one of us."
Wow. Talk about empowerment. It completely throws out the idea of waiting for some hero to fix things.
Right. No waiting for Superman.
It's pure self-responsibility, radical agency, the power to change things, to lead, to make a difference. It's right here, inside you, inside each of us.
The direct challenge.
Yeah.
Step up, own your potential.
It really is. And then he follows it with that line about will.
Nothing harder if one knows not how to will it. Nothing easier if one wills it. That cuts right to the core, doesn't it? The power of sheer commitment.
It really does. It speaks directly to your own ability to, decide and commit. If you lack that will, if you're hesitant or unfocused, everything feels impossible.
You get stuck.
Totally. But if you really will it, if you focus your energy and determination, then suddenly things start to feel achievable. It's about building that inner resolve, that mental grit.
It's the difference between just wishing and actually doing. And that applies to everything, big goals, small habits.
Absolutely. It's that daily discipline fueled by will.
Okay, so this idea of universal human qualities, looking past labels. Marden drives this home with an anecdote, right? About the Baptist doctor of divinity.
Ah, yes, the convention story. It's quite vivid. This little short doctor of divinity gets up and declares very fervently, "I thank God I'm a Baptist."
And someone tells him to speak up, get higher so people can see him.
Right. And his response is basically, "I can't get any higher because being a Baptist is the highest thing one can be." He's reached the peak in his mind.
And then Marden just drops the hammer with the response.
Yeah.
But there is something higher than being a Baptist, and that is being a man.
It's such a perfect punchline for his argument. And again, it's not really a dig at Baptists or any specific faith.
No, it's about perspective.
Exactly. It's saying that these universal human qualities, integrity, character, responsibility, they transcend any specific label, any group affiliation, whether it's religious, professional, whatever.
So what's truly highest is cultivating that fundamental humanity, being a good person, essentially.
Right. Rising above the tribes and labels to connect with that core human identity. For us today, it's like saying, yeah, your job title is important, your community matters, but ultimately your value lies in your character, your actions as a human being. Are you contributing positively, regardless of the label?
And this connects perfectly to Rousseau, doesn't it? Marden quotes him talking about the common vocation of humanity.
Yes, Rousseau says their common vocation is the profession of humanity, and whoever is well educated to discharge the duty of a man cannot be badly prepared to fill any of those offices that have a relation to him.
So the main job is just learning to be a good human.
Pretty much. Rousseau continues, "It matters little to me whether my people be designed for the army, the pulpit, or the bar. To live is the profession I would teach him." And then he concludes, "Let him first be a man. He will be always found in his place."
That's a radical idea about education, especially when you think about how specialized we often become.
It really is. Rousseau is basically saying the ultimate curriculum is learning how to live, becoming responsible, capable, resilient, well-rounded. And if you get that right, you're prepared for anything life throws at you, any career path.
Because the core skills, thinking, adapting, acting with integrity, those are transferable, unlike specific job skills that might become obsolete.
Exactly. So if you're listening and thinking about your career or education, the message here is that building your character, your core humanness, is actually more crucial for long-term success and resilience than just focusing on narrow technical training.
It's about developing the whole person, not just the worker bee.
Right. Building a foundation that lets you adapt and thrive. And this isn't some abstract philosophical idea. Marden points to real people, like James A. Garfield before he was president.
What did Garfield say?
When asked about his ambitions, he apparently said, "First, I must make myself a man. If I do not succeed in that, I can succeed in nothing."
Wow. So self-development isn't just helpful for success, it's the absolute foundation. Without that inner work, maybe everything else is just unstable.
That seems to be the implication. If you haven't built that core self, that character, then external achievements might not last, or they might feel hollow.
And then there's Diogenes, the Greek philosopher. Always good for a blunt observation.
Oh, Diogenes. Marden tells a story of him shouting in the marketplace, "Hear me, O men!" And when a crowd gathers,
He basically insults them, right?
yeah, he looks around and says dismissively, "I called for men, not pygmies."
Ouch. He wasn't looking for bodies. He was looking for substance.
Exactly. He was challenging the superficiality. He wanted individuals with genuine depth, integrity, character, the qualities Marden is talking about, not just people going through the motions.
It's a call for authenticity, for real substance beneath the surface. It asks us, are we being substantial or just taking up space?
A challenging question for sure.
Okay, so we've established that first, be a man is really about this deep, universal call for character and integrity. But then Marden shifts gears a bit, doesn't he? He brings in physical health.
He does. And the phrase he uses is, well, it's memorable. "One great need of the world today is for men and women who are good animals."
Good animals. Yeah, that definitely grabs your attention. Sounds almost primitive.
It does, but it's actually incredibly insightful, especially for his time. He's highlighting the importance of physical vitality, something we might neglect in our very mental, digital age.
And he connects it directly to the stresses of life, right?
Yes, he says, to endure the strain of our concentrated civilization, the coming man and woman must have an excess of animal spirits. They must have a robustness of health.
Concentrated civilization. That sounds remarkably like our world today, doesn't it? High stress, always connected, constant demands.
It's incredibly prescient. The need for physical resilience, for that basic energy and vitality, is probably even more critical now than it was in Marden's time. We need the stamina to keep up.
And he's not just talking about, like, not being sick.
No, not at all. He uses that wonderful image of health being like an overflowing fountain, not just half full. It's about vibrant, abundant energy, feeling so alive that your very existence feels like a luxury.
You can almost feel it when he describes it. A bounding pulse, life in every limb, like dogs running or boys skating. It's that pure, unadulterated joy of physical well-being.
It's about vitality that fuels everything else, not just the absence of illness.
And he gets practical, too, linking health to other life choices.
He does. He gives that advice. Dispense with the doctor by being temperate, the lawyer by keeping out of debt, the demagogue by voting for honest men, and poverty by being industrious.
Which is brilliant because it shows how interconnected everything is. Being temperate isn't just about food and drink, it's self-control generally.
Staying out of debt reduces stress, which we know hammers our health.
Voting for good leaders creates a more stable environment.
And being industrious combats poverty, a huge source of ill health. It's all linked.
It's a holistic system. These aren't just random tips, they're foundational choices for overall well-being, creating that freedom and energy Marden values. Your physical health supports your work. Financial stability reduces stress. It all works together.
Exactly. True success, in his view, isn't compartmentalized. It's integrated.
But okay, this focus on being a good animal, this physical robustness, it's not the only thing, right? Marden makes that clear with the story about the painter Kneller and the poet Pope.
Right, the encounter with the slave trader. Kneller proudly introduces Pope and himself as the two greatest men in the world.
And the slave trader, focused purely on physical capacity and monetary value.
Is completely unimpressed. He looks at Kneller's stoutness and Pope's frail physique and basically says, I've bought better men, all muscle and bone, for 10 guineas.
It's chilling, isn't it? Reducing human worth to pure physical utility.
It really is. And Marden uses it to powerfully critique that kind of narrow materialistic view. Kneller and Pope were giants of intellect and art, but to this guy, they were physically deficient and therefore worth less. It shows the danger of valuing only the physical or the material over, mind and spirit.
So Marden's ideal man isn't just a strong body. That's part of it, a crucial foundation, but it's not the whole picture.
Not at all. He's arguing for a sympathesis, which leads him to quote Jean-Paul Richter.
What did Richter say?
I have made as much out of myself as could be made of the stuff, and no man should require more.
That sounds like self-acceptance and self-reliance.
I think so. It's about finding contentment in maximizing your potential given your starting materials, rather than comparing yourself to others or seeking constant external approval. It's an inward focus on personal mastery.
A powerful idea in our comparison-obsessed culture.
Definitely. And then to perfectly summarize the ideal balance, Marden brings in Voltaire's aspiration.
Which was?
The body of an athlete and the soul of a sage.
Ah, yes. The complete package.
That's the synthesis. Physically capable, resilient, full of vitality, and intellectually sharp, morally grounded, spiritually aware. It's the harmonious development of the whole person.
Not just strong, not just smart, but both integrated.
Precisely. A truly holistic individual.
Which brings us right to Marden's concerns about the opposite, about superficiality and getting trapped in narrow boxes. This feels incredibly relevant today.
It really does. He starts by observing how hard it is to find truly competent, reliable people. He says, although millions are out of employment, how difficult it is to find a thorough, reliable, self-dependent, industrious man or woman for any position.
You hear echoes of that all the time now, don't you? Complaints about skills gaps, lack of work ethic, finding people who are truly dependable.
It seems like a timeless problem. Marden called his era a superficial age, and he didn't mince words giving examples.
No, he really didn't. He talks about young women trying to make a living as typists.
But says many are ignorant, deficient in the common rudiments, they spell badly, use bad grammar, murder the English language. Basically, they can only copy like parrots.
Harsh. But his point is about a lack of fundamental skill.
Exactly. And it wasn't just office work. He says it's next to impossible to get a first-class mechanic. He has not learned his trade. He has picked it up and botches everything he touches.
So superficiality for Marden means lacking that deep, foundational understanding and skill. It's about preferring the quick fix, the surface appearance, over genuine mastery and critical thinking.
Right. It's not just lacking knowledge, it's the approach to work and learning.
Which makes you wonder, are we still living in a superficial age in some ways? Does all our easy access to information sometimes lead to shallower understanding?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? We have more data than ever, but maybe less deep assimilation, and this ties into his critique of specialization.
He admits specialties are efficient, they help commerce in the professions.
But he warns strongly that they are often narrowing to individuals, having a dwarfing, crippling, mutilating influence.
That's pretty dramatic language.
Yeah.
Crippling, mutilating.
It shows how strongly he felt about it. He paints this picture of the merely professional man.
How does he describe him?
As narrow, artificial, a creature of technicalities and specialties, disconnected from broader truths and human interaction, and then the real zinger, he has sunk his personality and his dexterity.
Wow. Lost his identity to his job skill.
Exactly. Became a walking job title, losing breadth, connection, even individuality because he over-specialized. You know, like the person who can only talk about their work who seems defined entirely by it.
We all know people like that, maybe. Or parts of ourselves that risk becoming like that.
It's a real danger, which is why he contrasts it with Humboldt's view.
Alexander von Humboldt, the explorer and scientist.
Yes. Marden quotes Humboldt saying the aim should be to secure the highest and most harmonious development of his powers to a complete and consistent whole.
Harmonious development, the opposite of the narrow specialist.
Right. Humboldt champions cultivating all your faculties, intellectual, physical, emotional, moral, not just the ones your job demands. It's about being well-rounded, constantly learning, engaging broadly.
It's about building the whole person again, not just the professional part.
Exactly. And Marden observes that sometimes you see people with immense possibilities who seem brilliant, knowledgeable,
Ones with great promise.
but they never pay. They raise great hopes only to dash them. He senses some indefinable want in them.
What do you think that indefinable want is? What's missing?
It could be that foundational character, the discipline, the integrity we talked about, or maybe it's the inability to connect the dots, to synthesize their knowledge into effective action, or maybe just a lack of that inner drive that will... They have the potential, but not the engine or the steering wheel to make it go somewhere productive.
Intellectual horsepower without the ability to apply it effectively, perhaps.
That could be part of it. Brilliance without groundedness, or follow-through, or maybe even empathy. That missing piece that turns potential into reality.
So Marden sees this lack everywhere, this need for more complete individuals. He says the sign "wanted a man" is hanging over every profession.
It's a universal demand, in his view. And he gives examples of what this wanted person looks like in practice.
Like the clergyman.
Yeah, he wants a clergyman who is broader than his pulpit, who understands people's real lives, the merchant, the clerk, the lawyer, not just theology. Someone who connects authentically is one of their number.
Someone relatable, grounded, not just theoretical.
Right. Empathy born of broad understanding. And he wants a lawyer who isn't just a walking bundle of precedents.
Meaning not just reciting rules, but understanding principles. Justice, the human side.
Exactly. Someone who hasn't let the technicalities obscure the bigger picture, the ethics, the human reality. A true jurist, not just a legal technician.
And the shopkeeper example is great too.
Oh, I love that one. Wanted, a shopkeeper who does not discuss markets wherever he goes. He wants someone so much larger than his calling that he would not talk shop in society.
That paints such a clear picture. It's about having an identity that's bigger than your job. Having interests, depth, being able to connect on multiple levels.
It implies a rich inner life. You're a person first. Your profession is just part of that. You're not defined solely by how you make a living.
He really drives the danger home with the image of the man making screws, right?
Yes, the man spending his whole life by a machine making screws. Marden says there's nothing to call out his individuality, his ingenuity, his powers of balancing, judging, deciding.
And the result?
He becomes a mere part of the machine he tends.
Chilling. Especially when you think about automation and repetitive tasks today. Are we letting our work shrink us if it doesn't engage our full selves?
It's a powerful warning about mental atrophy, about losing our humanity if we don't actively cultivate our broader faculties, our critical thinking, our creativity.
So, summing up the wanted person,
Yeah.
what are the key traits?
Individuality and courage. Someone who will not lose his individuality in a crowd, who has the courage of his convictions, who can say no even when everyone else says yes.
Standing firm in who you are.
Balanced development. Someone who won't let one great faculty dwarf, cripple, warp, or mutilate the rest. No overdevelopment stunting other parts.
The holistic ideal again.
And finding higher purpose in work. Someone who sees their occupation as more than just a means of getting a living.
What should they see it as?
As a place for self-development, education and culture, discipline and drill, character and manhood.
Wow. That completely reframes the purpose of work. It's not just about the paycheck. It's about becoming a better person through the work.
Exactly. Which leads to the question for you, the listener. How do you see your work? Is it just a transaction or is it part of your personal growth journey? Are you using it to build character, discipline, and expand who you are?
That's a top question. Marden's challenging us to see even mundane work as a crucible for self-improvement.
Absolutely. And this ties into his final, really profound section about nature's role in all this.
Nature as the great motivator.
Yes. He sees nature's laws as inherently guiding us, rewarding good choices with health and happiness, punishing bad ones with pain. But it's more than just cause and effect.
How so?
He says nature actively resorts to every means to induce us to expand and develop the great possibilities she has implanted within us. It's like nature wants us to grow.
And even the hard stuff, the struggles, are part of that plan.
Definitely. She nerves us to the struggle beneath which all great blessings are buried. Challenges aren't roadblocks, they're where the treasure is hidden. They're the opportunities for real growth.
So we shouldn't resent the struggle. We should see it as the path to development.
That seems to be his view. And nature is clever about how she motivates us. She dangles glittering prizes just out of reach.
The things we strive for: success, wealth, recognition.
Right. But the real point isn't actually getting the prize. She covers up her ends of discipline by trial, of character building through suffering, by making the future look glamorous.
Why? Why the deception?
Lest the hard, dry facts of the present dishearten us and she fail in her great purpose. If we knew how hard the journey of growth really was, we might give up. The prize keeps us moving forward.
So the goals we chase are actually just bait to get us to do the work of developing ourselves.
That's the core insight. The journey, the becoming, the character building, that's the real reward. The external prize is secondary.
And he uses that beautiful analogy of the mother and the toy.
Yes. As a mother teaches her babe to walk, by holding up a toy at a distance, not that the child may reach the toy, but that it may develop its muscles and strength, compared with which the toys are mere baubles.
That image just makes it so clear. The things we chase, the career milestones, the possessions, the status, they're like the toys. They're incentives.
But the real goal, nature's goal for us, is the development of our muscles, our strength, our character, our capabilities. The development of the man, as Marden puts it. The toys themselves are insignificant in comparison.
It forces you to ask, what strengths am I really building by pursuing my current goals? What kind of person am I becoming in the process?
It's a perspective shift, isn't it? And Marden takes it even further, placing humanity right at the center of creation's purpose.
How does he do that?
He uses the analogy of a great painting having one central focus. He argues that in the vast universe of God, everything else, every star, every flower, every natural law is like a signpost pointing towards the main event. Man.
So human development isn't just personal, it's like the point of everything.
That's the implication. Being a man, in this full holistic sense Marden describes, is elevated to a cosmic imperative. It's why we're here. Nature, he says, writes this thought upon every leaf. She thunders it in every creation. It's a constant, universal call to become our best selves.
That's a pretty grand vision.
Yeah.
Almost spiritual.
It is. And he closes the chapter with those lines from the poet Edward Young, which capture it perfectly.
Remind us.
Open thy bosom, set thy wishes wide, and let in manhood, let in happiness. Admit the boundless theater of thought from nothing up to God, which makes a man.
A call to embrace everything, think big, and realize our full potential.
Exactly. A call to become that complete, developed human being.
Okay, so wrapping up this first chapter. First, be a man.
Yeah.
It's really not about gender roles or old-fashioned ideas at all, is it?
Not fundamentally. It's a timeless call to cultivate your entire self. Build your character, prioritize your health, strive for real competence, broaden your horizons beyond your job, and find purpose in growth itself.
Integrity, self-reliance, holistic development, purpose beyond just surviving.
These core principles, stripped of the old language, feel incredibly relevant, maybe even more relevant for navigating our complex world today. They offer a solid foundation when everything else feels like it's shifting.
They help you not just cope, but actually thrive.
Right. Which leaves us with a final thought, building on that nature and the toy idea.
Okay, let's hear.
If Marden's right, and true success is about the becoming, not the getting, then what toys, what external goals are you chasing right now? And more importantly, how are they serving the higher purpose of your own development? What kind of person, what kind of complete, purposeful human being are you striving to become through that chase? And how do your daily choices actually line up with that ultimate aim?
Lots to chew on there. Definitely something to think about as you go about your week. Until our next deep dive.